Now rook c8, quite an ingenious move. Now the idea is that after 8 takes b4, black plays knight takes b3, knight b3, queen a4. And again, it looks that it's all working in black's favor, because they avoided this crisis with losing the pawn on b4 and ended up with equal material. But it's unusual, despite the fact that white king looks quite vulnerable. After king b2, d5, c3, it's all reversed again. d4, rook, knight a5. Rook a1 is another move, and it was played in Kaufmann-Gelfand. And after queen d7 exchanges, the game ended up with a draw. So another chance was to avoid a draw, play knight a5, but then black can sacrifice an exchange, and position is absolutely unclear. But knight a5, that's what caused black quite a trouble for in several games. Bishop d5, rook a1, and now it's same position with extra exchange, but queens are aboard, and it looks that black can't create any decent counter chances and to receive compensation for this exchange. But with interference of the computers, the amateurs found out that it all may end up in a draw. I don't think that one should bet that all these lines that are yet used in this variation are absolutely correct, but I think it's quite amazing just to look at the game played by two unknown, my apology if somebody knows them, players in the corresponding game. It's after queen c2, bishop d6, bishop d4, castle, g takes h6, e5, queen b8 now, and if rook g1, then e5, rook g7, king h8, and eventually black in attack, and it's white already has to find the only drawing sacrifice. So obviously they stopped playing here because they knew after consulting their computers that after queen takes f7 it's a perpetual. So white has other options like playing for instance queen d3 here, but then queen b8 and black sacrifice a piece and it's rooks down, whole rook down. But look at the white king, and the position is definitely absolutely unclear. So it seems that in these complications black can hold and count for creating the very dangerous threats, and so far machines are backing up this evaluation. But queen b4, it's probably more natural move because white just wins the pawn, and it's not easy at the first sight to understand why these pawns were sacrificed. After queen c7, white has a choice. King b1 again is the most natural move, but Vichy played against me knight takes c5, so that was another rapid in 2002. dc5, queen a4, knight d7, knight e2, c4, bishop f4, and here I played queen c6, but later I analyzed bishop c6, queen c4, e5, and I think black has quite good counter chances for sacrifice pawn. After queen c6, king b2, exchange, bishop e7, and I had pretty good position also. I think white game can be improved, but it's still around roughly equal. So that's why if white wants to achieve something, it has to play king b1. Then knight f d7. Also there's knight c d7. That's another move played by Kaufmann against Anand, with the idea of breaking through d5, and now his pawn on h3 is hanging, but typical bishop h3, d4, g5, and here instead of taking on e4 as Vichy played this, in this game, bishop takes e6 would grant white real advantage, as pointed out by Ubilava. So knight f d7, that's original idea. Knight b2, d5, queen d2, d4, f4, knight f6, bishop e2, and here is the position. There are equal number of pawns. Black had their traditional breakthrough in the center, but white consolidated the position. Now knight has a great square on c4, and the threats of g5, f5, this advance is still there. Knight d5, knight c4, and here Kasparov against Anand in their rapid match in Lyon played knight d7. I don't want to go into all these jungles. I analyze this position with black. I think after g6 the game remains unclear. I think it's playable for black, although it's extremely complicated, and both sides can enjoy these complications if you have a taste for such sharp positions, and you don't mind spending time with your computer looking for tricks that can decide game in your favor at the board. And this position offers enormous opportunities for players with great fantasy. So guiding your computer through these lines, you may find new ideas, and even as we can just see it in the game played by two relatively unknown players on the correspondent chess, you can find ideas superior to what's was played by leading players. And after knight d7, this is passive move. Vichy progressed with g5, and then g6 of course is a threat. Take on e3, queen e3, bishop d5, and that's it looks very dangerous for black. Also g6 was an option as well. f5, knight takes f5, and it's still quite dangerous. But rook hf1, bishop c5, queen c3, hd5, knight f5, and here gf4 was, according to Vichy, the best chance to fight. Also, I think that position is quite terrible. Kasparov took on c4, and then the game was quickly over. I don't want to advise you against playing this line with black, because obviously it's far from being clear. But since black experienced troubles both in the line with queen a5, b3, knight c5, a3, knight takes a4, as you saw from my games with Topalov, and positions as similar to what's happening in Anand Kasparov, they looked risky. Obviously, you have a lot of resources, but it's risky, and black looked for some other options. Black naturally wanted to find other ideas that could, at earlier stage, change the tide. And not surprisingly, this time Topalov came up with an idea that now is the dominant trend for black in these lines with g4, h6.